Welcome to the 30k channel. I'm your host David, and I've been joined by John and Mark this morning. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you well?
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. I'm quite excited for this. White Scars and Sons of Horus.
Yeah.
Some pretty tough lists, I think, though, aren't they?
Should be good fun.
I think it will be. First of all, we must say thank you to both of these gents. One of them's come from Berkshire and one's come from Bedfordshire. I know, Mark, you came up and stayed over at John's place, didn't you?
Yeah, correct.
So a bit of coordination going on, staying over. So really appreciate the effort that you've made. So thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah, we've known each other for a few years, so it makes it easy.
Cool.
You stay at mine quite a lot, don't we, when we go to Warhammer World?
Yeah, it's nice halfway stop off.
Yeah,
perfect. It's always great when you've got two people that know each other, because the day tends to go a little bit easier. They know each other's armies. They've had a few games previously, so it kind of works even better. So it's really great that you can secure these two gents. I have to say, the armies are looking fantastic.
Thank you.
Two really lovely armies. We haven't had White Scars on for a while, so it's really awesome to secure John and get him on with his lovely scars. You've done a great job of these.
Thank you. I've pinched the scheme from another well-known White Scar player on the on the Heresy forum, so I can't really take originality kudos from that. So
it works really well, doesn't it? Start with the blue, work up to white. Just works so well.
People are quite scared of painting either black or white, and really, I always think you're not actually painting black or white. You're either painting like grey or another colour and highlighting to white or darkening down to sort of black. That's the way to sort of get over the fear, I think, of painting either black or white, I think.
And I think also as well, the blue base brings out the white even more. They probably look whiter than they would do if you started with white. I know it sounds a bit counterintuitive, but it kind of brings it out a lot more, doesn't it?
I think, yeah, again, it's about contrast. So you notice the white because it's in contrast to the rest of the model. Otherwise, if you just paint something flat white, it just looks like a flat colour and it doesn't have that pop, really. So yeah, something's a bit blue, but it does. It makes it different though. So, and it works with White Scars as well, because the blue and the white works with the red of the White Scars. Blue and red being natural sort of opponent colours, which is good.
Amen. And Sons of Horus as well. I think the Sons of Horus green is a really tricky green to get, isn't it?
Yeah. So I used the old Forge World colours, which they've thankfully now brought back, which has been really good. Quite a simple process, just the Lupercal green, Sons of Horus green, and then Coelia green shade, and that's kind of most of it.
Really striking force, it's the green and it's the black of the Justarian, and I think the first company, aren't they, Black Marines or Reavers and that sort of thing? Yeah, it looks really great.
The red really is a counterpoint to the black and the green as well, so it really works as well as a scheme.
Just ties it all together.
Yes.
And you can certainly tell the elites from the sort of rank and file of the rest of the army. And
definitely.
It's a fantastic contrast. So we've got two great guys, two really great armies. I honestly think your armies are quite tough, and I think both of your lists are those armies that go straight for the jugular on first turn, second turn, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so Mark's obviously Orbital Assault hammers you really quite quickly in early stages. I actually is a counterpoint because half my army is in reserve with the Flyers and the Terminators and the Storm Eagle. I have to survive the first two turns. And then I don't really come into the game really until turn 3 onwards. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah. In today's mission as well, we're playing War of Lies and we're playing Dawn of War as well. But I understand when we did the roll-off that you got the first turn. Is that right? Or you didn't want the first turn?
I didn't want the first turn, no.
But John gave it to you so graciously.
Well, I think to build a narrative, and you'll see the board later, it makes more sense for me to be moving out into the objectives and have Mark strike down as a counter-strike. Building the narrative is obviously I think the best thing in the game, and so it made more sense to do that rather than me trying to force Mark to take the first turn and try and sort of get one over a cheap shot like that. So no, it's better to play the narrative, I think.
And also as well, I think half the board is a city and the other half is quite open. It's the same board we used for the last Alpha Legion Imperial Fist game with I can't remember the guy's name, Lucy and her partner. So it's really good to see that. James and Lucy it was. But what we've done is there was a little bit of open ground in the middle of it, and I've just stuck an Imperial Fist falchion there right in the centre, so that increases the line of sight in the centre of that board. But instead of having the White Scars assaulting from the outlying lands into the city, we've got you going the opposite way, haven't we?
Yeah, so I think the narrative we decide on is that the White Scars have secured the city already, and now we're pushing out to the other objectives. And as we do that, the Sons of Horus counterstrike will fall and try to stop us.
Yeah, for me, I'm not sure how you're going to play this one, because obviously it plays into your hand that you're perhaps deep striking into the open, but with the drop pods, you're not going to hit the buildings too much, are you?
No, with the guidance rules, you can really kind of pick and choose where you go, which is quite useful.
I think it'd be really good for the Sons of Horus to maybe get on those objectives. I know they don't come into play until the end of the game, but you can sit down there and hunker down, fire out from the buildings and pick off the scars, because they've got to navigate through the line of sight through the city and stuff. But the beauty about both armies is that they're super mobile, and you can go any of the objectives on the board, can't you?
Yeah.
So we might find ourselves where we've got lots of little pockets. My experience of playing with White Scars is that you deploy your army, you castle up, and then you just get this whole wall of white come towards you, and you kind of fight in a very small portion of the battlefield. But I think it will be down to the Sons of Horus to kind of dictate where those battles take place.
Yeah, this is going to be a very different game to those types, I think.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
Really looking forward to it, gents. We're going to dig deeper into these lists, find out exactly what they've taken, and then we'll see at the beginning of turn 1.
3,000 points of Sons of Horus, led by Malagos the Twisted, Rite of War, Orbital Assault, Warlord trait, Battle Standard of the Rebellion, which makes Malagos a scoring unit on his own. Leading the Sons of Horus is Malagos the Twisted. The second HQ choice is a Moritat, armed with a plasma pistol, a Volkite Serpenta, with Artificer armour, Psych-Out grenades and a Refractor field. First elite choice is a Contemptor Cortus, armed with a Keres Assault Cannon, mounted in an Anvilus Dreadclaw. Second elite choice is a Legion Dreadnought, armed with a Flamestorm Cannon, a Dreadnought close combat weapon with a Heavy Flamer, and mounted in a Legion drop pod. Third elite choice is 6 Justarian Terminators, 2 Armoured Lightning Claws, 1 Chain Fist, 1 Multi-Melter. They will be accompanying Malagos the Twisted and mounted in a Storm Eagle with wing-mounted las cannons. Fourth elite choice, 5 Legion Destroyers, 1 with a missile launcher and mounted in a drop pod. First troops choice, 10 Veteran Marines, Veteran Sergeant with Artificer armour and with a Power Fist, 2 power weapons in the squad, 1 sword, 1 with an axe, and 2 plasma guns. Weapon Master special rule and mounted in a drop pod. Second troops choice, 10 Veteran Marines, Veteran Sergeant with Artificer armour with a Power Fist, 2 power weapons in the squad, 1 axe, 1 with a sword, 2 melter guns, special rules, Weapon Masters, and mounted in a drop pod. Third troops choice, 5 Tactical Support Marines, armoured plasma guns, and mounted in a drop pod. Fourth troops choice, 10 Reavers, Reaver Chieftain with Artificer armour and a Power Fist, 7 Chain Axes, 2 power weapons, 1 sword and 1 axe, mounted in an Anvilus drop pod. First fast attack choice, 5 Seekers, all armed with combi plasmas, a strike leader with Artificer armour and mounted in a drop pod. Second fast attack, Legion Xiphon with ground track and auguries.
3,000 points of White Scars, led by Solomon Khan as the Warlord in a Chigorian Brotherhood Rite of War. Solomon Khan's Warlord trait is Inspiring Presence. Solomon Khan will be leading the White Scars from the front. He'll be riding his jet bike. He's got Artificer armour, Mastercrafted Thunder Hammer, Combi Melter, and an Iron Halo. Also in the army is Quinzar, the chosen of the Kargan. He is wearing Tartarus Terminator armour, Iron Halo, Grenade Harness, and has Tails of the Dragon as a weapon. He is accompanied by an Esturist, who is a level 2 Psyker in Terminator armour with a Combi Bolter and a Force Staff. Accompanying Quinzar and the Esturist will be a unit of 5 Terminators, all in Tartarus Terminator armour, 2 with power axes, 1 Lightning Claw and a Chain Fist, and a Reaper autocannon. The whole unit will be riding in the fast attack choice of a Storm Eagle gunship with hull-mounted missile launcher and twin-mounted las cannons. My second elite choice is a unit of 10 destroyers, 2 with missile launchers with suspensor webs and rad missiles, and the sergeant packing some Artificer armour. Accompanying Solomon Khan will be 3 Jetbike Sky Hunters. The Sky Hunter sergeant has a Power Glaive and a Volkite Culverin, and the unit is carrying melter bombs. The second troop's choice is a unit of 8 Outriders, all with twin-linked plasma guns. The next troop choice is a unit of 6 Outriders. The sergeant has a Power Glaive. There are 2 power axes in the unit, and all the models are equipped with melter bombs. The last troop choice is a unit of 3 Outriders. The first fast attack slot is taken up by 2 attack bikes, both with multi-melters. The last fast attack choice is a unit of 6 Seekers, 5 with Combi Plasma, and the strike leader with Artificer armour and a power sword. The Lord of War choice is a suborbital strike wing of 2 Lightning Strike fighters, both in ground attack mode. The first Lightning has 2 wing-mounted twin-linked autocannons and 2 mounted Kraken penetrator missiles. He also has battle servitor control and ground tracking auguries. The second Lightning has 2 wing-mounted Phosphex bomb clusters and 2 wing-mounted electromagnetic storm charges. White Scars have deployed and used their scout move to move outside of the city, unawares that the Sons of Horus are about to pounce.
So there are no Sons of Horus currently on the table because the entire army starts in reserve and will start dropping down first turn.
Let's have some fun. Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you. White Scars, turn 1. White Scars, turn 1 movement phase. Night fighting is an effect which will greatly help Jinx later in the game. I've moved further out of the city to contest the objective straight away and to try to dictate where the Sons of Horus drop pods are going to land.
Sons of Horus, turn 1, movement. First wave comes crashing down through the atmosphere. All 4 pods, all 4 hits exactly where they wanted to go. On the left flank, we've got a Destroyer squad and a Legion Dreadnought. Going to engage the White Scar Bikers. Moving over to the right flank, we have 2 Anvilus drop pods with a Reaver squad and a Contemptor to engage the Jet Bikes and the Bike squad on this side. At the end of the movement phase, the Heat Blast resolved, took 2 bikes off the Outrider unit. The Jet Bikes were unharmed, but the bikes did pass their leadership check. Sons of Horus, turn 1 shooting. The Legion Dreadnought from Sons of Horus targeted the White Scar Outrider Bikers. Flamestorm Cannon hit 3, incinerated 3. The Heavy Flamer also hit 3 and incinerated 1. Next up was the Drop Pod, targeted with his Twin Link Bolter against the White Scar Outrider unit again. Was ineffective this time. Continuing on the shooting phase, the Moritat and the Destroyers opened up on the White Scar's Outrider unit. The Moritat took down 2 with his Volkite, but the plasma pistol was ineffective. The rest of the destroyers were also ineffective. The White Scars did pass their leadership check. So end of Sons of Horus' first turn. Started off quite well with a few Heat Blast kills, and then following on, really took down the number of Outriders with plasma, so that will be good later on. Overall, quite a good start.
White Scars, turn 2 movement phase. The Lightnings entered from reserve. One of them completed a bombing run over the Sons of Horus destroyer unit, killing 4 of them. Fortunately, Mark made quite a few cover saves owing to the drop pod itself. The Storm Eagle also entered from reserve and is lining up an attack upon the same White Scars drop pod. The Assault Bikes are moving in position to take out any survivors. My Destroyers also entered from the right-hand side of the board. They are also eyeing up that unit with the Moritat in. And the other Lightning is lining up an attack run on the Box Dread for vengeance against the assault on the Outrider bike from the previous turn. The Outrider unit is going to move away from the Anvilus drop pods, and in the centre of the board, Solomon Khan and his jet bikes also going to move away from the Anvilus drop pods. White Scars turn 2 shooting phase. Continuing from the movement phase, the Outrider squad and the jet bike squad have turbo boosted further away from the Anvilus drop pods. The assault bikes multi-melted the Sons of Horus destroyer drop pod, managing to blow it up. Unfortunately, they did not kill any other destroyers in the blast. Next unit to fire onto the Sons of Horus destroyer squad, whose drop pod has recently been destroyed, was the White Scar destroyers. The missile launchers with rad grenades shot, but to no effect. The Moritat's artificer armor being too hard. However, 4 of the White Scar destroyers bolt pistols managed to chip off a single wound from the Moritat. White Scar's ground attack lightning targeted the Sons of Horus box dread. Its las cannon was put off by the intervening drop pod. However, the auto cannons managed to chip off 2 hull points and also shake the dreadnought, which means it will be snap firing. However, as it's only got template weapons, I'm not expecting any more shots from him next turn. So White Scar's Outriders moved around to the side of the box dreadnoughts. Mark was gracious enough to let me move these after I forgot to move them in the movement phase. They managed to shoot their plasma, and although one overheated twice, took a wound, but I made the save, they were able to chip off the last hull point, and now there is no more box dread. Swooping in from above, the White Scar Storm Eagle targeted the remaining models in the destroyer unit, Sons of Horus destroyer unit. The missile launchers managed to take out the last destroyer, leaving him open, the Moritat open to las cannon fire, which eventually took his last wound. End of White Scar's turn 2, really solid round, really took the battle to the Sons of Horus. Let's see how turn 3 goes.
Sons of Horus movement, turn 2. Reserves were really favourable. Edge of the Spear, which allows you to reroll 1s, was really favourable for me. Managed to get 3 units to drop down. Over on this flank, the Sons of Horus Contemptor has moved to engage the bikes. The Reavers have got out of their Anvilus to engage another White Scar Outrider squad. The veterans with plasma guns dropped down to have a shot at Solomon Khan. The Storm Eagle came on, is going to engage one of the Lightnings. Over on this side, the Xiphon has come on and is going to engage the other Lightning with a second veteran squad with melter guns, dropping down, slightly scattered this time, unlike his friends, and the squad is now going to engage the destroyers. Sons of Horus, turn 2, shooting phase. The melter gun vets shot at the White Scar destroyers. One of the melter guns hit, killed a destroyer. The bolters then fired, killed another 2 destroyers. However, they unfortunately passed their morale check. Continuing on with shooting, the Sons of Horus Xiphon targeted the rearmost White Scar's Lightning. However, due to Jink, no damage was done. The Dreadnought Legion pod decided to take a couple of pot shots with his combi at the Plasma Outriders, however, was unable to wound them. The Sons of Horus Storm Eagle fired with its las cannons into the Lightning. 1 successful hit, however, due to Jink, no damage was done. The Plasma Gun Veteran Squad engaged Solomon Khan and his bikes. The Plasma Gunners got 3 hits, however, there was an overheat and unfortunately a failed armor save, so 1 has died. They did, however, manage to take out 1 bike, and then the bolters fired and took a wound off Solomon Khan. The Sons of Horus Reavers then shot at the Outrider unit. 10 pistol shots with 8 hits, causing 3 wounds. However, all of the saves were made. Wasn't too sure about shooting with the Cortus, as it does increase the charge. However, I thought I'd take the risk. Have taken out 1 bike, but due to the Cortus overcharge rule, I do get extra charge distance, so hopefully we're less of a risk. Sons of Horus, turn 2 assault phase. The Reavers have charged the Outrider unit. Luckily, the Overwatch was completely ineffective, even with the Twin Link rerolls. The Cortus has caught the other Outrider unit. Fortunately, has Fleet initially rolled a 3 and then rerolled exactly the 7 that was needed. Hammer of Wrath also was ineffective. Combat between the Sons of Horus Contemptor and the White Scars Outriders. The Contemptor swung in with his 4 attacks, however only hit with 2 and then only successfully wounded 1, killing 1 Outrider. However, when the White Scars Outrider swung back, he hit with his Melter Bomb but rolled a double 1 for penetration, so no damage was caused. Then, with hit and run, managed to get away from combat 12 inches. After combat, the Dreadnought then consolidated 5 inches back towards his pod. At the start of the combat between the Reavers and the White Scar Outrider bikers, the Chieftain issued a challenge to the Sergeant, which he accepted. Then, at the initiative step 4, the Power Sword armed Reaver struck 4 times and caused 2 wounds, taking out 2 of the bikers before they had a chance to hit back with their power axes. The rest of the Reaver squad then continued hitting the squad, further taking out the last biker. However, he gets to continue hitting back at initiative step 4. The White Scar biker hit back with his 2 attacks, hitting once, however failing to wound. In the challenge between the chieftain and the sergeant struck at initiative 4 with his glaive and killed him with 1 attack. The Reavers have won combat, with the White Scars bikers passing their leadership check on a 7. However, they have elected to hit and run and got away 13 inches. With the White Scar biker now fleeing away from the Reavers, they've consolidated 4 inches back to their transport. Really great turn, managed to get some more units back on the board, did some good damage, looking forward to turn 3.
White Scar's turn 3 movement phase. The Seekers have arrived from reserve and are taking up position in this central building. Both White Scar Lightnings have exited the board with the idea of coming on from ongoing reserves next turn. This single biker is going to run away from the Contemptor Dreadnought, which mashed up the rest of his unit. The rest of the White Scars are consolidated towards the centre of the board. The Storm Eagle has gone into hover mode and disgorged its Terminators with Quinzar and his Stormseer advisor, ready to take on this veteran squad which has come out of the drop pod. Solomon Khan and his jet bikes are also lining up to make an assault into the same squad. Over here, the remaining 2 Plasma Outriders and the Destroyers have lined up shots for the second Sons of Horus veteran unit. Also on the right there are the 2 assault bikes ready to destroy the drop pod which the Sons of Horus have just arrived in. White Scar's turn 3 psychic phase. The White Scar Asterist tried to cast Hammerhand onto his unit, which would have given the unit +2 strength. However, he rolled a double 2, not only failing to generate any war charges, he also perils and forgot his other psychic power, Purge Soul, and took a wound in the process. Not a good psychic phase. White Scar's turn 3 shooting phase. First thing action was the lone Outrider, who's now turbo boosted into a building to stay safe. The Seekers rolled 4 for their run move and have moved up into the building here to get a better position when Malagurst and his Just Aryan bodyguard arrive. And the assault bikes have shot at this Sons of Horus drop pod. However, 1 hit failed to do any damage to a drop pod. Continue with the Destroyer shots onto the Sons of Horus veterans. I scored 7 hits with bolt pistols, resulting in 4 wounds, but only 1 dead Sons of Horus veteran. Rounding out the shooting against the Sons of Horus veterans, the Plasma Outriders rapid-fired their plasma guns. They scored 4 hits, totaling 3 wounds, leaving only the Sergeant with his Power Fist alive. Solomon Khan's jet bike unit lined up, strafing run against the Sons of Horus veterans. Lots of hits were scored, however, absolutely no wounds. Continuing with the White Scars shooting against this veteran squad, the Storm Eagle opened up with the Vengeance missile launcher, scoring 5 hits. However, all the saves were made. The Storm Eagle then shot with the twin-linked missile launcher, killing 1 veteran. And its 2 last cannons managed to score 2 hits and 2 wounds, also taking out the unit sergeant, which is very good for me. The superior firepower of the White Scars forced a leadership test onto the Sons of Horus veterans. However, they rolled a 9, and without their sergeant, that's a fail. They managed to roll a 6, which took them off the board. Quinzar and his Terminators are now sitting pretty in the middle of the board. However, Malagurst and his Justinian bodyguard are hovering right above them, ready for revenge. On to the assault phase. White Scar's turn 3 assault phase. The only assault to be made was the White Scar Destroyers into the remaining Sons of Horus veteran sergeant. The Scars managed to roll a 12, really eager to get into combat. The veteran sergeant immediately challenged, which was immediately accepted by the White Scars sergeant. In the ensuing combat, the Destroyers managed to score 15 wounds against the veteran sergeant. However, the White Scar sergeant failed to wound him, but with that amount of wounds against him, wounding on 3s due to rad grenades, the Sons of Horus veteran sergeant had no chance. The White Scars then consolidated 6 inches towards the centre of the board. White Scars, turn 3, end of turn report. A really good turn for White Scars, really dominating the left-hand side of the board now, racking up those victory points for death toll.
Sons of Horus, turn 3 movement. The Dreadnought used his boosted movement to jump into the pod, which then moved a further 6. The Reavers then jumped into their pod, which then moved 6 away. The Storm Eagle went into hover mode and the Justarian and Malagos got out. The remaining Sons of Horus reserves dropped into the battlefield, the Plasma Gunners and the Seekers, both getting out to engage their targets. The Xiphon, without any air targets to engage, flew off the board into reserve. Sons of Horus, turn 3, shooting phase. The pods on this flank engage the destroyers. The combi bolters inside, scoring 3 hits, 2 wounds, however both were saved. The Seekers dropped in and engaged their Mark the Death unit, the jet bikes with Solomon Khan, scoring 10 hits, 9 wounds, and wiping out the unit, earning a Warlord victory point at the same time. The Sons of Horus tactical sports squad slammed into the middle of the table, got out, fired their 10 shots from their plasma guns at Quinzar and his Terminator unit, 1 overheat, which was saved by the armour, led to 8 wounds, and then 4 dead Terminators resulting from this. Malagos and the Justarian engaged Quinzar and his unit. The combi bolters from the Justarian took out the Terminator, and then the multi-melter fired and took out the Esoterist. The Sons of Horus Storm Eagle engaged the White Scars Storm Eagle, scored 2 hits with the las cannons, resulting in 2 glances. However, Jinx saved 1 of these, meaning only 1 whole point was caused. Then fired the Vengeance Launcher so that it clipped Quinzar. However, this failed to get past his armour save. The drop pods also fired into Quinzar, but resulting in no further damage. Sons of Horus, turn 3 assault. The Justarian Terminators decided to charge Quinzar, made the 7 inches required. A challenge was then issued, which was accepted by a Terminator with a lightning claw.
Quinzar issued a challenge which was accepted by a line Justarian with a lightning claw. Quinzar strikes at initiative 6 and with counterattack means he gets 6 attacks. He managed to cause 3 wounds, which killed the guy in the challenge, and 1 wound spilled over onto another Justarian.
Initiative step 4, Malagos and the remaining Terminator with lightning claw struck. 6 attacks, resulting in 2 hits and only 1 wound, which was saved by Quinzar's armour. At the start of Initiative Step 1, thanks to the Merciless Fighters rule, and because I outnumber Quinzar, both Malagos and the Terminator with the lightning claw who had already struck get to make an additional single attack. However, this also resulted in no damage, as the 1 wound that got through was saved by Quinzar's armour. Continuing on with Initiative Step 1, the 3 Power Axes and the Power Fist struck against Quinzar. Unfortunately, the Power Fist missed with all its attacks, and the Power Axes caused 3 wounds, 2 of which were unsaved by the invulnerable save of Quinzar. The result of the combat was a White Scars victory. Due, however, to Malagos' banner, the Justarian are fearless, so no leadership check was required. At the end of combat, Quinzar decided to use his hit and run and moved a full 8 inches away. The Terminators then decided to consolidate 3 inches back towards their Storm Eagle. At the end of that round, fairly good round for the Sons of Horus, removed the Warlord and his squad, removed Quinzar's bodyguard and taken him down to a couple of wounds, wrestling back control of the centre of the board from the White Scars.
White Scars, turn 4, reserves and movement. Both Lightnings re-enter the field and line up gun runs against the Sons of Horus Storm Eagle. Quinzar embarked on his own Storm Eagle, and which moved back 6 inches. The Seekers in the building have moved to get a firing point through the windows. The Destroyers have moved towards the centre of the board, looking to seek revenge against the Justarian, as have the 2 Plasma Outriders, lining up some shots, as also have the Assault Bikes with their multi-melters. In the backfield, the 2 single lone Outriders are looking to escape and make good their survival. At the end of the White Scars movement phase, the Lightning with the Haywire bombs dropped its payload onto the Anvilus drop pod with the Contemptor Dreadnought inside. Only 1 hit, 1 scattered a full 12 inches off, and a roll on the Haywire table of a 1 means that absolutely nothing happened. White Scars turn 4 shooting. The Lightnings continued to shoot the Storm Eagle. The Lightning on the bombing run shot the Storm Eagle with its las cannons, scoring a penetrating hit, resulting in a loss of a hull point and it being stunned. The second Lightning fired both its Kraken penetrating missiles, however, on the roll of 2 1s, both missed. Shooting its las cannon at the Storm Eagle failed to penetrate. and one of the twin-linked autocannons also failed to do any damage. White Scar's Storm Eagle lined up a strafe and run against the Sons of Horus Justerian. After it shot its Vengeance Launcher, Missile Launcher, and Las Cannons, only a single Justerian was reduced to dust. The lone White Scar Outrider shot his twin-linked bolter at the Justerian squad, hitting twice, only wounding once, but was easily saved. The two assault bikes hit twice with their multi-melters, only wounding once, however, but the Justerian made its 4-up invulnerable save. Following on from their multi-melter shots, the assault bikes shot with their twin-linked bolters, managing to cause a wound on the Justerian. Next up to shoot the Sons of Horus Justerian is the White Scar's Destroyers. The missile launchers with rad grenades managed to finish off a Justerian on a single wound, and the bolt pistols managed to inflict another wound on a Justerian. In the final action of the shooting phase, the White Scar's Seekers moved up to get a better angle of their target through the windows of the building. As a review of White Scar's turn 4, some mediocre shooting from the air, however some good shooting on the ground, resulted in quite a lot of the Justerian being shot off the board.
Sons of Horus, turn 4, movement. The Xiphon came back on automatically and has flown to engage the Lightning with the autocannons and las cannons. The two Anvilus pods have moved close to the centre, ready to engage turn 5. The Dreadnought, however, has dropped out, looking to charge the Storm Eagle. The remaining Sons of Horus units in the middle have moved towards the bikes and the destroyers, looking to take them on this turn. Sons of Horus, turn 4, shooting phase. Starting off with the Contemptor Cortes, firing his carrier's assault cannon at Storm Eagle. Scored 5 hits, 1 went through to a penetrating hit, however, Jink saved it from any damage. Next up in the Sons of Horus shooting phase, with the Xiphon Pattern Interceptor. Engage one of the White Scar Lightning Fighters. 2 shots with the las cannons resulted in 1 glancing hit, which was unsaved by Jink. 1 further hit with the Rotary Missile Launcher caused a penetrating hit, and then due to the cluster warhead rules, rolled D3 times on the table. However, neither of these were a 6, meaning no explode results. Really pleased to have destroyed one of the Lightnings. That really helps now in trying to gain air superiority for the rest of the battle. The remaining Justerian and Malagos decided to shoot the Outriders with plasma guns, scoring 3 hits and 2 wounds, which resulted in one of the bikers being felled. The plasma gun support squad opened up with their plasma guns on the destroyer squad, scoring 9 hits, resulting in 6 wounds. However, through some lucky cover saves, only 3 died. The Sons of Horus pods also opened up on the destroyers, however, no damage was done in the end. The Sons of Horus dropped pods in the middle, then shot the remaining plasma outrider, however, again, no damage was done. Finally, to finish off the shooting phase, the 2 Seekers on top of the crates took some pot shots at the Outrider Sergeant over in the far side. However, no damage was done. Sons of Horus, turn 4, assault phase. Malagos and Justerian in the centre charged the remaining plasma gun Outrider. Overwatch, he scored 1 hit. Malagos look outside this onto the Justerian and then he passed his invulnerable save. The Contemptor Cortes also decided to charge the Storm Eagle to try and take that out of the sky. Malagos and the biker struck simultaneously. Malagos, with his power sword, managed to cut down the biker with his 4 attacks, hitting with 2 of them and then wounding with 1. Took no damage in return, and then they consolidated 3 inches away from combat. Contemptor Cortes, charging into the Storm Eagle with his Hammer of Wrath, managed to get 1 glancing hit. He then followed up using Rage from his overcharge ability with 5 attacks, hitting 4 times and then causing 4 pens. Downing the Storm Eagle and then Quinzar emergently disembarking. At the end of Sons of Horus turn 4, the Contemptor passed his overcharge check, meaning no further damage. Beginning to get into the end game now, so we need to start thinking about objectives for War of Lies.
Turn 5, White Scars, movement. The Seekers in the building have moved to get a better vantage point of their mark for death target, which is Malagos and his Justerian. The Destroyers have moved up for targets in front of them, most likely going to shoot at the Plasma squad in front of them later. Quinzar is then moving to look to assault into whatever is left. The assault bikes have moved to engage the Sons of Horus Contemptor with their multi-melters. And the 2 lone Outriders have moved with their melter bombs, looking at the Anvilus drop pod in front of them. White Scar's last remaining flyer, the Lightning, moved over the Sons of Horus Seeker Squad, dropping its last payload of Phosphex bombs, wiping out the unit. White Scar's turn 5 shooting phase. The Seekers in the building marked Malagurst and his bodyguard unit for deletion. They inflicted 8 hits and 8 wounds, taking down the Justarian bodyguard and reducing Malagurst to 2 wounds. Shooting continues with the White Scar Destroyer Squad aiming at the Sons of Horus Plasma Support Squad. After the dust had settled, 3 Sons of Horus Plasma Marines had taken fatal wounds due to the Rad missiles, and the bolt pistols didn't manage to add to that tally. The support squad managed to unfortunately fail their leadership test and fled 10 inches towards their own table edge. Next shooting was the assault bikes shooting their multi-melters at the Sons of Horus Contemptor. However, 2 2s were rolled and both missed. Next up shooting was the 2 separate Outrider squads. Both threw crack grenades at the Anvilus drop pod. One managed to find its mark and inflict a hull point. White Scar's turn 5 assault phase. The Outriders individually charged the Anvilus, looking to plant some melter bombs and take that out of the game. In the centre of the field, Quinzar has managed to successfully charge Malagurst, who did manage to hit with one of his Overwatch. However, Quinzar's armour was too good for the Bane Strike ammo. An unfortunate occurrence where both melter bombs have been fumbled, 2 2s were rolled, therefore no damage. The main event, Quinzar struck first at initiative 6, all 6 attacks going against Malagurst. However, only 4 hit. Of those, managed to inflict 3 wounds. However, Malagurst saved 2 of his wounds, only suffering 1. He'll now get to attack back. Malagurst attacked back, hitting 3 times, however only wounding once, which Quinzar managed to save. Malagurst loses the combat but is fearless. The combat continues. White Scar, turn 5 summary, a really good turn, managed to pull back the centre field. However, Sons of Horus, now with their turn 5, are going to make another counter-strike.
Sons of Horus, turn 5 movement. With no good targets on the board, the Xiphon has gone into ongoing reserve. However, the Storm Eagle has come back on, looking to try and take down the final Lightning. Over on the far side of the board, the Anvilus drop pod has flown over the 2 remaining Outrider bikers. However, with the heat blast, no damage was done. The Reavers have got out of their drop pod and are looking to finish off those bikers in combat. And the Anvilus in the centre has moved a bit further forwards to see what it can do next turn. The Plasma Gun support squad have rallied and consolidated into a bit of cover to hopefully do something turn 6. The Dreadnought has moved towards the attack bikes, hoping to take them out this turn. Sons of Horus, turn 5 shooting. Starting with the Contemptor Dreadnought, firing his Kerras and his Combi Bolter into the bikes. Scored 2 hits with the Kerras, resulting in no wounds. Scoring 1 hit with the Combi, also resulting in no wounds. Continuing shooting, the 2 pods on the Sons of Horus left flank opened up on the destroyers. 3 shots, scoring 2 hits, which killed both Marines. The 2 pods in the centre also opened up on the destroyers. However, this time they were ineffective against the Marines. Continue on with the Plasma Gun support squad. Because they were snap shooting anyway, decided to take some pot shots at the flyer. Scored 2 hits on 2 6s, got through to penetrating hits. However, unfortunately, the flyer did make both its Jinx saves. The Storm Eagle then decided to open up on the Lightning. Both las cannons getting hits, however, only one managed to get through for a pen. The Jinx save was failed, only a 3 was rolled, so the Lightning is now stunned. The Heavy Bolt is also fired, but failed to do any damage. Sons of Horus, turn 5 assault. The Dreadnought decided to charge the 2 multi-melter bikes. No hits from Overwatch, and also no damage from Hammer of Wrath. The Reavers decided to split charge the 2 remaining bikers. Again, no damage from Overwatch. Combat between the Contemptor Dreadnought and the multi-melter bikers. Using Rage to gain an extra attack, rolled 5 attacks, however only managing to hit with 2, Luckily though, needing 2s to wound, managed to make both wounds, wiping out both bikers, consolidating back 1 inch towards his pod. In the combat between the Reavers and the White Scar bikers, the Reaver with the power sword struck into the bikers, killing the sergeant. Before he died, however, he did manage to take down 2 Reavers with his power glaive. The rest of the squad then attacked in and wiped out the remaining biker. At the end of combat, that's a further 2 points towards the death toll. The Reavers then consolidated 6 inches towards the central objective.
In the Sons of Horus assault phase, Quinzar strikes first at initiative 6, 5 attacks, all hitting, resulting in 4 wounds. Unfortunately, Malagos only managed to save 1. He's very dead. Quinzar then consolidates towards the lone plasma gunners at the back of the Sons of Horus line who are camping on that objective.
At the end of turn 5, in a good position now, managed to wipe off all the remaining bikers, camped on a couple of objectives, and really poised for the endgame.
White Scars, turn 6, the final round. Quinzar has moved across the crates to take on the Sons of Horus plasma squad camping on that objective. The destroyers also following him to try and get a bead on the Reavers to their right. The Lightning has moved around to take a pot shot at a drop pod, seeing if we can get a final victory point there. And finally, the Seekers have moved down onto the basement ground of this building, trying to hold this objective. White Scars, turn 6 shooting phase. The Seekers have run, so they're only just within 3 inches of the objective because of the impending charging dreadnought. The destroyers in the middle of the field have thrown a crack grenade, unfortunately did not manage to do any damage to one of the drop pods. Quinzar is lining up his charge in the assault phase against the 2 plasma marines, and the Lightning failed to hit the drop pod in front of it as it's jinking last turn. White Scar turn 6 assault. Quinzar's charge into the plasma squad is successful. The overwatch resulted in no hits, however it was an overheat and a death for the unit sergeant. The result of that assault, unpredictably, was Quinzar making mincemeat of the Legionnaire. Of his 6 attacks, 5 hits, 4 wounds, no saves. He's dead. Consolidated closer to the objective, which sits underneath the Sons of Horus pod. We're both denying it, which means no one's claiming it. End of turn 6 for the White Scars. We're only sitting on 1 objective. Hopefully, with the War Allies rules, we can make this count. It's now over to the Sons of Horus to see if they can really swing it in their favour.
Sons of Horus, turn 6 movement. The Xiphon came back on and is engaging the last remaining Lightning. The Dreadnought is moving over towards the objective to take on the Seekers. The Reavers have moved slightly further up to get some pot shots against the Destroyers. And the Storm Eagle has also flown across to the middle to try and finish off the Destroyer unit. The other Anvilus drop pod flew over Quinzar, heat blasting him, however, no wounds were caused. Sons of Horus, turn 6 shooting. Xiphon engaged the Lightning. The 2 las cannons managed to hit but did no damage, however, the fatal blow was dealt by the rotary missile launcher. Continuing on the shooting phase, the Storm Eagle engaged the 2 remaining destroyers. The Vengeance missile launcher and the heavy bolters did no damage, but they were finished off with the 2 las cannon shots. The drop pods then decided to shoot Quinzar. 6 shots from their combis, resulting in 4 hits and then 1 wound, which went through his armour, causing a wound. The final remaining pods took a couple of pot shots at the Seekers. 2 shots, both hit, and then 1 failed armour save. Finishing off the Sons of Horus shooting phase, the Contemptor opened up with his Keres, killing the unit sergeant, which crucially takes them off the objective. However, I'm still going to try and charge them to get the extra kill point. The final act of turn 6 was the combat between the Contemptor Cortis and the Seekers. 4 attacks only yielded 2 wounds and 2 dead Marines. However, they couldn't strike back and hurt me. They did pass their leadership check, which meant I couldn't run them down and gain the extra victory point. So now it's just time to tot up where we got to in the end.
That's it. White Scars took on Sons of Horus to absolutely devastating effect. That was one hell of a game, gents.
It was interesting. It ebbed and flowed backwards and forwards. I think it turned around turn 4 in your favour.
Yeah,
I had some pretty shocking shooting, and if you had more units left, you could just start that tide against me.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it was that turn 4 of shooting that probably cost you the game.
Yeah.
A few too many of my units were left and just allowed me to dictate a bit more in that end game.
I loved throughout the whole game, particularly in the first sort of 2 or 3 turns, units were dropping in. There was other units coming behind them, deleting a unit, and then another unit was coming behind them, taking them out. It was such an emotional roller coaster, I guess, wasn't it?
Yeah, a lot of what happens with the drop pod army is you kind of drop stuff in and you do some damage and then that gets wiped out, and then you drop more stuff in, there's a bit less stuff to kill, and it goes backwards and forwards a lot. And John's army, I think, is quite similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark was able to dictate where the battle was going to take place with the first drop with his killer units. My units were then moving away to survive, but then his next scoring units would then cement the position in the game. I wasn't able to shift him off effectively.
Yeah, it was so cool. It's absolutely fantastic. We're going to go straight into the victory points. We'll start with the White Scars. I think you did a valiant effort.
Yeah.
Your death toll was 11. And then you also got Slay the Warlord, which was great work for killing Malagast.
Well, I needed to get revenge after his Mark Seekers came down and obliterated Solomon Khan.
Yeah.
Which took the White Scars to 12 victory points. But the Sons of Horus have the victory for the day, scoring 13 points on death toll. You also got Slay the Warlord, and you got 2 for the price of failure for the sub-audible strike wing. So
you also get D3 for killing all my bike units.
Yeah. All right, and you also got, at the end of the game, we played Border Lives, don't forget, John, you were so unlucky to be wiped off that objective the last turn by the Contemptor.
Yeah, there was Mark managed to fleet his Contemptor into my Seekers, which were my only scoring unit left. As soon as he made that charge, it was curtains, game over.
Yeah. All right, let's have those rolls. Let's have a D3 for the Chagorian Brotherhood. 2. All right, so that's 2, and then the D6 on the War of Lies.
So that's a 5.
5, 3. Oh my god! So if my maths serve me right,
It's turned into a kicking to a dropping.
16 plus 5 is 21 versus 12. Congratulations!
Big game.
Big
game.
Yeah.
Wow, what a game! Let's start with you. What unit have you brought back to talk about?
So I brought back my Seekers. Like John said, they dropped in, did their thing with their plasma against Solomon Khan. Died quite quickly after that, but I think they'd kind of earned their keep by that point, so I was quite happy with them.
They put the damage in, didn't they?
They put the damage in. They always do. 10 hits usually, 10 wounds usually. Yeah, you can't
Not come
argue
back from that.
Can't argue with Plasma Seekers.
And the Death Dealer rule worked for you as well on occasions, didn't it?
Yeah, not so much with these guys, more with the kind of the other squads.
Yeah.
You go to Ballistic Skill 5 within 12 inches, so the Plasma Gunner squad benefits a lot from that, as do the 2 Veteran squads with their special weapons as well. With drop pods, it's great. You can drop within 12 inches usually, so it really plays to their strengths having those 2 things together.
Yeah, it worked really well. John, tell us what you brought back, please.
So I've also brought back my Seeker squad for the sole reason they were the only models left on the board at the end of the game. Unlike Mark's, mine had to footslog on and find a position and are able to find Malagast and his Justarian bodyguard and managed to get their hits off. They didn't kill Malagast himself, but they did delete enough of the Justarian to be able to whittle down that unit so I could assault it effectively. They are a great unit. If you can put them where they need to be, I can always outflank mine because of Chagorian Brotherhood, which does help a lot. It didn't help in this game. I think the only Seekers which outdo mine with outflanking is podding ones like yours.
Yeah.
You can put them exactly where you need them next to the unit you need to kill.
Yeah, very much.
Really effective.
Yeah, it was really good, and it was great to see just the two armies just going at it. I'd never seen so many flyers on the board. There was tons, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was 5.
Yeah, 2 Storm Eagles, the 2 Lightnings,
yeah.
and then finally the Xiphon.
Xiphon, yeah.
There's a lot of flying around, and I loved it how you both took the advantage of flying off the board and come on the next turn for ongoing reserves and just shoot stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of sort of cat and mouse between the flyers. We're trying to get into a good position to be able to take each other's down. Yeah, I've self-imposed no tanks in my army, so I only have wheels and wings. So my anti-tank is solely in my aircraft. They're not equipped very well either for that role. But as soon as you take them out of the game, then I've got a very not very good way of taking out any armor.
Well, and in particular, we have to say about the attack bikes. Their rolls to hit and then to penetrate with a double armor pen was just It was bad.
I do say they're my only anti-tank the lightnings, and I say that because my assault bikes, my attack bikes with the multi-melters, they rarely hit, they rarely wound. Yes, when they really needed to slag that Contemptor to death, they got right in front of it and rolled 2-2s.
I think me calling for double 2s and then that happening was really great.
You did call 2-2s.
I did call
and I rolled 2-2s, so there you go.
The Contemptor did some really good work. It really held down that end of the flank, didn't it?
Yeah. If they last, they're brutal, and actually sticking it in the Anvilus is a really good thing, because unlike a Dreadnought drop pod, you can stay inside the Anvilus and you're a bit more protected. And then on top of that, you gain the extra movement as well.
Yeah.
And for 15 more points, it's a bit of a no-brainer.
Yeah. I loved it how you dropped it, used it, and then got him back in and moved into a different part of the board, then used him again. So that was just brilliant.
Yeah.
It just shows the flexibility of that unit.
It's great mobility, yeah. To be able to put, I mean, if you see you'll see from the battle, obviously, that the way that the Contemptor was able to actually ended up on the complete opposite side of the table. If you can get a Contemptor, a unit that hard, mobility that wise, it's fantastic. So I wasn't able to bring anything to bear to deal with it effectively. So
yeah, well, he did, but it just.
Oh yeah. I think anything effective.
Oh, it was such a shame. I thought, these two multi-melters just pop off and.
No, I knew it was good. It was fine. I was not worried in the slightest. Those multi-melters, no chance.
2-2s.
2-2s.
Desmond 2-2.
Love it. I've had an absolute blast today. I have taken a ton of photos from this game. So when the game is released, please go to the Facebook page and check those photos out. Now, you are both on Instagram. We can follow you, can't we?
Yes.
Where can we find you, Mark?
I am Hermes Olympian 1.
Fantastic.
Johnny GG 1981, I think it is.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I have to use Instagram a bit more these days.
Yeah, you said there's not too much on there, but it's going to kind of help you put some more out there.
Yeah, I kind of go in fits and starts. So sometimes I go in, sometimes I don't. It's
See how we go.
It's one of those things.
If you've got any direct questions for these gents, please contact them via their Instagram page. It's a lot easier for you to contact them directly rather than going through me. I have a little bit on my plate at the moment, so I'm struggling to get back to everyone. So please deal with them directly. You can, of course, follow the channel on Instagram as well. It's just at the 30k channel. Gents, I had a really good day today, and I would love to have you both back for another game, maybe.
Yeah, certainly.
So we'll try and set that up as much as we can. Are you working on anything else in other armies or different units for
we're both building Legios for Titanicus, so that's probably the best thing. So I'm building Legios as Tobiax.
Yeah, and I've gone Astorium.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I've also got my Blood Angels, which I've just started. So another drop army. Slightly different flavour, but very much
it's more brutal though, isn't it?
The same end result, really.
It's more brutal. Brutaler, is that a word?
Who knows?
Yeah.
But it'd be good, Adeptus Titanicus, its gathering speed, I think it's still a little bit slow because I think a lot of people still haven't painted their Legios yet.
Yeah.
But it'd be great to a bit of Adeptus Titanicus action.
Definitely.
So
Looking forward to that
in the future.
Good stuff. Gents, the only thing left to say is thank you so much for your efforts today. I know you've travelled, stayed over, and then come down this morning. The game has been done in quite swift action, really, hasn't it?
Very.
We've done really well today, so thank you so much for that.
Swift
Well, I snuck it in. I snuck it in. I really hope you've enjoyed this game, and we will see you in the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.